At the Super Bowl party, my father didn't lower his voice or pull me aside for privacy. He stood up in the middle of the living room, remote still in his hand, and looked me dead in the eye in front of 50 people. Family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, all watching. "You're a failure," he said, loud enough that conversation stopped. "A complete embarrassment to this family." Then he pointed at the front door like I was trash being taken out. "Go live in the streets. We're done pretending you matter." My mother sat there on the couch, wine glass steady in her hand, and said absolutely nothing. My brother Marcus grinned like he'd won something. His wife Jennifer whispered to someone next to her, barely hiding her satisfaction. Not one person spoke up. Not one person said this was wrong. They just watched, some nodding, others looking away, all of them agreeing with their silence that I deserved this. So I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and walked out. Quiet. Calm. Carrying 32 years of their judgment like weight I'd finally decided to put down. They had no idea I earned $25 million a year running a company they knew nothing about. And in exactly 2 weeks, everything they thought they knew about me would detonate in their faces. Before I tell you what happened next, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I need to know I'm not the only one who survived this kind of betrayal. My name is Taryn Bishop, and I'm 34 years old. I grew up outside Boston in a town where everyone knew everyone's business and appearances mattered more than truth. My parents, Gerald and Diane, worked normal jobs. Dad was a regional manager at a manufacturing company. Mom did accounting for local businesses. We were comfortable. Middle class. Nothing fancy, but stable. My brother Marcus is 2 years older. From day one, he was the star. Varsity athlete, student council, popular with everyone. He had that natural charm that made people want to be around him. Teachers loved him. Coaches loved him. Our parents worshipped him. I was different. Quiet. Serious. The kid who spent lunch period in the computer lab instead of the cafeteria. I liked solving problems, building things, understanding how systems worked. My parents called it antisocial. Said I needed to be more like Marcus. When Marcus got into State University, my parents threw a party. Bought him a car. Set him up with everything he needed. When I got into MIT 2 years later, they said congratulations and asked if I'd applied for financial aid. I had. Got a full ride through scholarships and grants because I'd spent 4 years making sure I didn't need their help. Even at 16, I knew asking them for support meant competing with Marcus. And I'd never win that competition. So I went to MIT alone. Worked part-time jobs. Graduated top of my class. Started working for a tech company in San Francisco making decent money. My parents never asked what I did. Just knew it was something with computers. Marcus became a sales manager. Good job, good money, married Jennifer who came from a family with connections. They bought a house. Had 2 kids. Built the exact life my parents understood and valued. I built something they couldn't understand. Started a cybersecurity company with 2 MIT classmates. We created software that protected corporate data from hackers. Within 3 years, we had major clients. Fortune 500 companies. Government contracts. We grew from 3 people working in an apartment to 200 employees in a real office. My salary hit $25 million last year between salary, stock options, and profit sharing. At 34, I was wealthier than my parents could imagine. And I'd never told them. Not out of spite. They'd just never asked. Our conversations were always about Marcus. His promotions. His kids. His life. When I tried to mention work, they'd glaze over or change topics. So I stopped trying. I visited maybe twice a year. Kept conversations surface level. Answered questions but didn't volunteer information. Built a wall between my real life and my family life. That wall was about to come down. But not the way anyone expected. The Super Bowl party wasn't my idea. My mother had called 2 weeks earlier saying the family was getting together. It would be nice if you made an effort to come, she'd said. Translation, Marcus will be there, and it looks bad if you're not. So I flew to Boston. Rented a car. Checked into a hotel because staying at their house meant sleeping on a pull-out couch while Marcus and Jennifer got the guest room. I showed up Sunday afternoon. The house was packed. 50 people easily. Extended family, neighbors, Dad's coworkers, Marcus's friends. Everyone in jerseys, drinking beer, talking too loud. Marcus was center stage as always. Telling stories. Making people laugh. His kids running around getting attention from grandparents who'd never shown that much interest in me. I found a corner. Grabbed a drink. Watched the game. Tried to be invisible. Halftime came. My mother made a big announcement about Marcus getting another promotion. Everyone cheered. He gave a speech about hard work and family support. Thanked our parents for always believing in him. Then he looked at me. Unlike some people in this family, I actually made something of myself. It was a joke. Marcus' tone said joke. But everyone laughed, and in that laugh was agreement. Poor Taryn. Never quite figured life out like Marcus did. Something in me cracked. I made something of myself, I said. Loud enough that people nearby heard. Marcus grinned. What, your computer stuff? That's cute. It's not cute. It's a company. A successful one. Successful like making rent successful? Or successful like actual money? The room was watching now. Attention shifting. I made $25 million last year. It came out wrong. Defensive instead of casual. But it was out there. The room went quiet. Then Marcus laughed. Full belly laugh. 25 million? Taryn, come on. Don't embarrass yourself. I'm not lying. My company does corporate cybersecurity. We have Fortune 500 clients. I'm a co-founder. My income last year was 25 million. This is ridiculous, my mother said. Why would you make up something like that? I'm not making it up. Why is it so hard to believe I'm successful? Because we know your life, my father said, standing up now. We know you work some tech job in San Francisco. You drive a normal car. You dress normal. You're not living like someone with millions. Maybe because I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Or maybe, Marcus said, you're lying for attention because you can't stand that I'm actually successful. I'm not lying. My father's face went red. Yes, you are. And it's pathetic. You've always been jealous of Marcus. Always competed with him. Now you're making up stories to try to one-up him at a family gathering. I have documentation. Bank statements. Tax returns. Corporate filings. I can prove everything. We don't want to see fake documents, my mother said coldly. We want you to stop disrupting family time with your desperate need for attention. The room was staring. 50 people watching me fall apart. Watching my family dismantle me in public. My father pointed at the door. Get out. Go live in the streets where liars belong. You're embarrassing this family. Nobody defended me. Not one person. So I left. I sat in my rental car shaking. Not from cold. From rage and humiliation and something close to relief. Because I was finally done. Done trying. Done hoping they'd see me. Done caring what they thought. I drove to my hotel. Ordered room service. Opened my laptop and started making decisions. First, I called my lawyer. I need you to run a background check on my family. Credit reports, liens, any financial documents with my name attached. Why? Because I don't trust them. And I need to know if they've been using my identity. She called back 3 hours later. Taryn, we have a problem. My name was on a loan. $80,000, taken out 18 months ago. Signature looked close to mine but wasn't. My credit had been used to secure a business loan for Marcus. He forged my signature, I said. Yes. And the loan is 60 days past due. The lender is moving toward default. This will destroy your credit if we don't act fast. What are my options? Report the fraud. Press charges. Or buy the debt yourself and control what happens next. I thought about Marcus grinning while the room laughed at me. About my parents calling me a liar. About 50 people agreeing I deserved to be thrown out. Buy the debt. I want full control. This will give you significant leverage over your brother's business. Good. Make it happen. Next, I called my business partner Devin. Remember how we talked about going public with the company story? Doing press? Yeah. You always said no. I'm saying yes now. All of it. Interviews, profiles, whatever gets our story out there. What changed? I'm done hiding. Set up everything you can. I want this everywhere. Over the next week, I did 4 interviews. TechCrunch wanted the startup story. Forbes wanted the women in tech angle. Bloomberg wanted to talk about cybersecurity. A local Boston news channel wanted to profile successful people from Massachusetts. Each interview mentioned my background. Mentioned growing up outside Boston. Mentioned my age. Mentioned building the company from nothing. I wore expensive clothes. Let them photograph my San Francisco penthouse. Showed them my life. The real one my family knew nothing about. The articles started dropping. First TechCrunch. Then Bloomberg. Then Forbes hit newsstands with my face on a page in their 30 under 40 feature. My phone started blowing up. Old friends congratulating me. Former classmates amazed. People I hadn't heard from in years reaching out. And then, exactly 12 days after the Super Bowl party, my mother called. I let it ring. She called again. And again. On the 4th call, I answered. Taryn. Her voice was shaking. We need to talk. About what? Don't play games. We saw the articles. All of them. Oh, so now you believe me? Silence. We didn't know, she finally said. You should have told us. I did tell you. You called me a liar and threw me out. Your father made a mistake, my mother said. He was embarrassed in front of guests. He reacted badly. He called me a failure and told me to live in the streets. That's not reacting badly. That's showing me exactly what you think of me. We thought you were exaggerating. Making yourself sound more important than you were. Why? Why was it easier to believe I was lying than successful? She didn't answer. I'll tell you why, I continued. Because you've spent 34 years deciding Marcus is the successful one and I'm the disappointment. Anything that challenges that narrative gets dismissed. Even truth. That's not fair. What's not fair is spending my entire childhood watching you celebrate Marcus for everything while ignoring me. What's not fair is you paying for his college while I worked 3 jobs. What's not fair is you asking if I'd applied for financial aid while throwing him a party. We gave you both what you needed. No. You gave Marcus everything he wanted and told me to figure it out. There's a difference. You turned out fine. I turned out fine despite you. Not because of you. My mother was crying now. We're proud of you. We want to celebrate your success. 2 weeks ago you thought I was lying. Now that you've seen articles with my face in them, suddenly you're proud? That's not pride. That's embarrassment that you were wrong. Come to dinner. Please. We'll talk properly. Your father wants to apologize. Tell me something first. Did Marcus take out a loan using my identity? The silence told me everything? Mom. Did Marcus forge my signature on an $80,000 loan? I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. My lawyer found it. Business loan, my name, my credit, signature that's not mine. Did you know about this? Marcus needed help with his business. He was going through a rough patch. We thought you wouldn't mind since you were doing so well. My vision blurred with rage. You thought I wouldn't mind identity theft? It's not like that. You're family. Family helps each other. Family asks before using someone's credit. Family doesn't forge signatures. This is fraud, Mom. Federal crime fraud. You're not going to press charges against your own brother. Why not? He didn't hesitate to commit fraud against his own sister. Because it would destroy him. His business, his marriage, everything. He should have thought about that before he stole my identity. Taryn, please. Don't do this. We're family. You keep saying that word like it means something. Like it erases 34 years of you choosing Marcus over me. Like it makes fraud okay. Like it means I owe you something. What do you want from us? Nothing. I don't want anything from you anymore. That's the whole point. So you're just going to destroy your brother's life out of spite? I'm going to protect myself from people who've proven they'll use me without asking. If that destroys Marcus, he did it to himself. I hung up. She called back immediately. I blocked the number. Then I texted my lawyer, move forward with everything. No mercy. The next morning, Marcus showed up at my hotel. Front desk called my room saying someone was asking for me. I knew who it was. I met him in the lobby. He looked terrible. Hadn't slept. Eyes red. We need to talk, he said. No, we don't. Taryn, please. 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I sat down in the lobby. Talk. I'm sorry about the Super Bowl party. I didn't know you were telling the truth. You didn't care if it was truth. You just wanted to put me down in front of everyone. I was joking. It was supposed to be funny. It wasn't funny. It was cruel. He ran his hands through his hair. Okay. You're right. I'm sorry. Can we move past this? No. Why not? We're family. Did you forge my signature on a business loan? His face went white. I can explain. That's a yes. You committed fraud. Used my identity. Risked my credit. All without asking. I was desperate. The business was failing. I needed capital. Banks wouldn't give me more credit. Mom said you were doing well, so I thought. You thought what? That I wouldn't notice? That I'd be okay with it? I thought you'd understand. You're my sister. Being your sister doesn't make me your personal bank. Doesn't give you permission to steal my identity. I was going to pay it back. But things got worse. The business kept struggling. I got behind on payments. And now it's in default. Which means it destroys my credit. Which means you were willing to ruin my financial future to save your business. I didn't think you'd find out. There it was. The truth. He wasn't sorry for doing it. He was sorry for getting caught. Here's what's going to happen, I said. I bought your loan. I own the debt now. You have 2 choices. Pay me back in full within 30 days. Or I report the fraud and press charges. I don't have $80,000. That's not my problem. Taryn, you're rich. You make millions. You don't need that money. This isn't about money. This is about consequences. You forged my signature. You committed fraud. You risked my credit to save yourself. Now you pay for it. You're really going to destroy your own brother? You really stole from your own sister. So yes. He stood up. Mom was right. You've always been jealous of me. This is just revenge because you can't stand that I was the favorite. You weren't the favorite because you were better. You were the favorite because you were easier. You fit what they wanted. I required actual effort to understand. So they gave up and focused on you. That's not success. That's convenience. Whatever helps you sleep at night. I sleep fine. How about you? Knowing your business runs on stolen credit? Knowing your life is built on fraud? He walked away without answering. 2 weeks. I'd given them 2 weeks to figure out the truth. Time was up. Marcus didn't pay back the loan. Didn't even try. So I did exactly what I'd promised. Reported the fraud to the authorities. Provided documentation. Let the system do what the system does. The investigation started quietly. Then Marcus was arrested. White-collar fraud, identity theft, wire fraud. Multiple charges. The story hit local news. Local business owner arrested for defrauding family member. His face on the evening news. Details about forging his sister's signature to secure loans. His business collapsed within a week. Clients left. Partners withdrew. Jennifer filed for divorce, taking the kids. The house went into foreclosure. My parents called me 50 times. Left voicemails ranging from pleading to threatening. I didn't answer. Didn't engage. Just let consequences happen. My father showed up at my company in San Francisco. Security called me. I went down to the lobby. He looked older. Tired. Broken. You destroyed him, he said. He destroyed himself. He's your brother. How could you do this? How could he forge my signature? How could you help him? How could you all treat me like I didn't matter for 34 years? We made mistakes. But this? This is too far. No. Too far was throwing me out at a Super Bowl party. Too far was calling me a liar in front of 50 people. Too far was using my credit without asking. I'm just drawing boundaries you should have respected years ago. He's going to prison. Maybe. Maybe he gets probation. Either way, he faces consequences for choices he made. And you feel good about this? Destroying your family? I didn't destroy anything. You destroyed this family 34 years ago when you decided Marcus mattered and I didn't. You destroyed it every time you celebrated him and ignored me. You destroyed it when you paid for his life while I paid for mine. You destroyed it when you made me feel invisible in my own family. I'm just the one who finally said enough. Your mother is devastated. She helped Marcus commit fraud. She knew about the loan. She thought I wouldn't mind being stolen from because we're family. That's not devastation. That's facing consequences. What do you want from us? An apology? We're sorry. Is that enough? I don't want anything from you. Not apologies. Not relationships. Not anything. You had 34 years to see me. You chose not to. Now I'm choosing not to see you. So that's it? We're just done? We were done the moment you pointed at that door. You told me to go live in the streets. I'm just taking your advice. Building a life that has nothing to do with people who made me feel worthless. He left without another word. I went back to my office. Back to my life. Back to the family I'd built from colleagues and friends and people who actually valued me. 6 months passed. Marcus took a plea deal. 3 years probation, community service, restitution payments. He avoided prison but lost everything else. Jennifer got full custody. Moved across the country with the kids. Marcus moved in with our parents, working retail to pay legal fees. My parents' reputation in their town was destroyed. Everyone knew the story, how they'd enabled fraud. How they'd thrown out their successful daughter while protecting their criminal son. They sold their house. Moved somewhere smaller, cheaper, where people didn't know them. Through all of this, I lived my life. Grew my company. Made more money. Built stronger relationships with people who mattered. Then one day, an email arrived from M. Arcus. Subject line, I understand now. Taryn, I know you probably won't read this. I wouldn't blame you. But I need to say it anyway. I get it now. What we did to you. What I did. How we treated you your entire life. Losing everything showed me what you lived with for 34 years. Being ignored. Being dismissed. Having people assume you're less than you are. It's horrible. And we did that to you constantly. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking for anything. I just want you to know I understand. You weren't jealous of me. You were hurt by us. There's a difference. I'm sorry. For all of it. The party, the loan, the lifetime of being a terrible brother. You deserved better. I hope you're happy. I hope you're building something beautiful with people who actually see you. Because we never did. And that's our failure, not yours. Marcus. I read it twice. Felt nothing. No satisfaction. No anger. Just emptiness where family used to be. I didn't respond. What would I say? That I accepted his apology? I didn't. That I forgave him? I didn't do that either. That I wanted a relationship? Absolutely not. Some things break and don't get fixed. Some relationships end and should stay ended. Some families aren't worth saving. My mother sent a similar email 2 months later. Long, rambling, full of regrets and wishes and hopes that someday I'd come back. I saved it in a folder and moved on. Because here's the truth about being told to go live in the streets, sometimes that's the best thing that can happen. Sometimes being thrown out is actually being set free. My parents thought they were punishing me that day. What they actually did was give me permission to stop trying. To stop hoping. To stop making myself small so they could feel big. They gave me freedom. And I took it. 2 years after the Super Bowl party, I stood in my San Francisco penthouse looking out at the bay. My company had just closed another major contract. Forbes was doing a follow-up feature. Life was exactly what I'd built it to be. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Taryn? It's Jennifer. Marcus's ex-wife. I was surprised. We'd never been close. Hi. I know this is weird. But I wanted to thank you. For what? For pressing charges. For not backing down. For showing me who Marcus really was before I wasted more of my life with him. I didn't do it for you. I know. But it helped me anyway. After the arrest, I started really looking at our marriage. How he treated me. How his family treated you. I saw patterns I'd ignored. Using people. Taking without asking. Expecting everyone to clean up his messes. He learned it from our parents. I know. And I almost let my kids learn it too. But seeing what happened to you, seeing you stand up for yourself, it gave me courage to leave. To protect my kids from that kind of family. How are they? Good. Better. We moved to Oregon. Fresh start. They ask about their dad sometimes. I tell them he made mistakes and is working to fix them. When they're older, I'll tell them the truth. What truth? That actions have consequences. That family doesn't mean unlimited forgiveness. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from people who hurt you. We talked for another 20 minutes. About her new life. About my company. About how strange it was that his worst moment led to her best decision. After we hung up, I thought about that. How the worst day of my life, being thrown out of the Super Bowl party, led to the best years. How being told to live in the streets freed me to build a palace. My parents had meant to hurt me. They'd meant to put me in my place. They'd meant to show everyone that Marcus mattered and I didn't. What they'd actually done was cut the strings. Released me from trying to earn love from people who'd never planned to give it. Given me permission to stop caring what they thought. 2 weeks. That's how long it took for everything to change. For them to learn who I really was. For their world to collapse while mine expanded. They'd told me to go live in the streets. I'd built an empire instead. Here's what I learned from being thrown out at a Super Bowl party: your family's version of you isn't truth. Their limitations aren't your ceiling. Their blindness isn't your failure. I spent 34 years trying to earn recognition from people who decided I wasn't worth noticing. I made myself small so Marcus could feel big. I accepted being invisible because fighting for visibility seemed exhausting. The moment my father pointed at that door, he thought he was rejecting me. What he actually did was set me free. Free from needing their approval. Free from measuring my worth by their standards. Free from the endless work of mattering to people who'd chosen not to care. $25 million wasn't revenge. The interviews weren't revenge. Pressing charges wasn't revenge. Those were just consequences. natural results of choices they made. They used my identity, so I took back control. They dismissed my success, so I made it public. They threw me out, so I stopped coming back. They enabled fraud, so I reported it. They chose Marcus over me for 34 years, so I chose myself. I didn't destroy my family. They destroyed themselves by never bothering to know me. By assuming I'd always be there to ignore. By treating me like I was less than Marcus until the moment they needed something from me. 2 weeks. That's all it took for their world to change. But my world had been changing for 12 years while they weren't paying attention. I'd been building, growing, succeeding, becoming someone they never imagined I could be. And when they finally looked up and saw what I'd become, it was already too late. I was already gone. Already free. Already living proof that the child you overlook might just be the one who succeeds in ways you can't measure. If this story resonates with you, if you've ever been the invisible child or the dismissed sibling or the family member who had to succeed alone, drop a comment. Share where you're watching from. Hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories about families who underestimate, betrayals that backfire, and people who build extraordinary lives from the ruins of relationships that were never worth saving. Remember, being told to leave isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's permission to finally start living.